In today's video, we're going to go over all the ground vehicles that are coming in the La Royale update. First up, we have the new U.S. ground vehicles in the game. This is the M4T26. It's pretty interesting. M4's got a T26 turret on top. It's got the 90mm cannon, which is pretty awesome. You can see here it's also got the standard 50 cal on top. You also have decent armor. You have pretty good crew of 5. Horsepower is pretty good. Max speed's not great at 26. But that's kind of part of it. Here's where it sits on the tech tree. It sits between the M4376 and the T25. Up next, we have the new M1 Krasnovian variant tank. This is a rank 6 battle rating of 10.3. It's a unique tank in the fact that it has a Viz mod on it that makes it look vaguely like a Russian tank. So it's pretty interesting. It's got the 105mm M68A1 cannon. Normal stuff. I'd say the only thing is when you have the Viz mod on, when it's turning, you do have the barrels on the back, which kind of throw you off if you're shooting behind you. Outside of that, you can take that off and use it as a regular M1 Abrams, premium tank. So if it's something you want to pick up, it's not a bad idea. So if you're curious where it sits as well, went and threw it in here. 10.3 right there in rank 6. Next, we have the first German tank. In the update, this is the PZ38T in A. It's another light tank as well. It's a battle rating of 2.3 in rank 2. It has a kind of a unique 37mm on it. It does have some interesting shells, some AP shells, and some different things on it. It is relatively quick. Well, 37 miles per. Oh, it says miles per hour. I was like, what? I use kilometers an hour. I grabbed these cards off of Reddit, so they're not my normal setup. It does go 37 kilometers an hour, which is a little like 67, I believe, in kilometers an hour, which is pretty quick. It's very small when you look at its X-ray, and not very much armor, so it will be easy to get taken out. But the speed of it, it's got a pretty good cannon on it. It should be pretty fun to play. It's also going to be really easy to grind. It's right there underneath the two tanks here. Next, in rank 5, is the Rakuten Automad. Is battle rating of 7.3. It does have the 81mm Oerlikon Type 3Z 8 DLA launcher, and it does have enough for a reload of one of the launchers, which is pretty interesting. It's not overly fast, the reload, but it's better than not having any reload at all. So you can very quick, it's like 1.2 second reload speed or something like that, so it's very quick. You can blow through your ammo really fast, but you usually don't need more than a couple of shots to take out a tank. So I wouldn't recommend blowing through that ammo too quick. It is relatively quick as well. It goes in the 60s in the kilometers an hour as well, so it's not bad. I think it's slower than the USH, but it is still pretty good. As you can see right here, it sits right between the Jag Tiger and the DF-105, so 7.3. And up next, we have Russia. We're going to throw the BTR-80A in here, the light tank. You're looking at the 30mm 2A72 automatic cannon. Originally, this was sitting at 5.7, and it now sits at 7.0. They decided to add the APDS shells to it, so it's going to be playing higher, and it's going to be a little different. But the speed should be the same. The only difference is the shells, from what I can tell. So that'll be fun to have in the game. Again, so this is not an accurate. I actually don't think I have a screenshot of where it sits. I don't think I do. So, but it's obviously going to be lower. It's going to be in a different spot. Here we have the Object 435, a battle rating of 8.3. It's a rank 6 tank as well. So it's a very small tank in like the way you look at it. It does have that big 115 on it, which I think is the same turret that was on. Sorry, it's the same cannon that was on T60 tanks. So. It's very capable. Like I said, it's just small. That's the biggest downfall. It's got similar hull design to like the IS-3, where it's kind of like a triangle on the front. It's got the rounded top, so kinetic shells are going to bounce off of it pretty easy. But overall, it was fun to play. Again, I played it in the dev server some, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I actually don't have where it sits in the tree, but it's 8.3, so. You should be able to figure out about where that sits in the medium tank line. So here we do have the first British tank in the ground. Is the Sark Mark IV-A. It's got a 40mm, 2-pounder cannon, and it's fun. It's quick. It kind of rocks. It does that kind of weird like Roycat like wheeled vehicle rock. The turret traverse is really slow as well, and it does not have the top mounted machine gun, so you're gonna have to try to use that 7.62 hull mounted. But 52 is accurate. I'd say it probably goes 60 to 70 comfortably kilometers an hour. And I enjoyed it. I ran this thing a couple of times in the dev server. I do have some footage somewhere of it. I just haven't used it yet. So I went and looked it up real quick. This is actually where the Sark sits, right at the top, 1.3. So it'll be real easy to grind out if you want to go play that. Another thing's getting added to the British tree as well is the new premium vehicle of Vigilanta. It's a Vickers Mark III, I believe, essentially. It is a battle rating 8.0, and it has 105mm Royal Ordnance L7A1 cannon. And it's going to play very similar to the Vickers 3, so if you're interested in that, probably be something you'd look at picking up. In Japan, here we have the Type 87 RCVP light tank. It's 20mm RH202 cannon. It fires very quickly, very quick fire, rate of fire. It will be interesting to see. I think against other light tanks, it's going to be very good. It can't really pin too much higher based off what I found it in the dev server. So it is it's very quick as well. It says 62 miles an hour. It goes about 85, I think, kilometers an hour if I remember correctly, and fires very quick. It's got some good stuff. It's not as big as the T80. It's still not small as far as like an IFV goes, but it's fun. It was a fun thing to drive around, and it was very quick and turned really well. So here's where it sits in the tree. It sits above the M41A1, so the Walker Bulldog, and just below the M4A376W. Next, we have the Object 211 in the Chinese tree, first Chinese tree. This is a rank 3 battle rating 5.0. It has have an 85mm cannon. I think that's the big difference. It's obviously they adjusted it to add that 85 in. It's not great. It says about 40 miles an hour, it says. I don't know if that's quite accurate. It didn't feel that fast. It's going to be replacing the PT-76 in China. So if you do not have the PT-76, you better go grind it out now, because it's going to be disappearing about 2 weeks after this update drops, which I think will be Wednesday or Thursday of this week. Could be Tuesday, but I think Wednesday or Thursday is probably the most likely thing. So I'm recording this as Saturday the 3rd, so in a few days. So this is where the Object 211 sits in the tree, just after the M24 and before the Type 63, which is, again, it's folded right now with the 76, but the 76 is going to be disappearing. Next in the Chinese tree again, we've got the ZZ-88B. It is a 105mm 88B 105T cannon. It's a very good cannon, so this should be a fun tank. It says 36 miles an hour, so probably put it in the 50s in kilometers an hour. And yeah, it'll be fun. So you'll be obviously researching this right after the 59D one, ZZ-59D1, and right before the ZZ-88A. So here we have one of the most interesting vehicles coming in this update period. You have the Veicolo Blindado Medio 8x8 Freccia Combat CC Spike. I know I butchered all of that. I don't speak Italian, so that was obvious there. It does have the machine gun, the 7.62 Beretta, but it also has the Spike launchers, and those launchers are pretty crazy, honestly. You get to fire basically 2 of them very quickly. You get the lock on, you fire the missile, you can be pointing straight up in the air. It doesn't matter. It's gonna hit really hard when they do hit. They're fire and forget, so they literally track like the highest heat signature in the tank, so kind of around the engine or something like that. So they're going to hit that spot. They can be blocked by smoke, which is nice to know if I see someone firing at them or I know somebody's with one out there. So that would be one thing to look at. But very fun, and at 10.0, it's gonna be a nightmare for a lot of people. So anyways, it says 68 miles an hour. It is that quick, I would say. 80, 90 kilometers an hour is pretty easy for it to achieve. This is where it sits. It sits right after the VCC 8030. So if you're already ground out top tier Italian, this will be cool. That's the end of the line there. It doesn't go any further than that right now. So this is actually the Spike missile. If you're looking to see what the stats look like, its mass is 13 kilograms. It says 110mm caliber. Lock range is 12 miles, so a long way in kilometers. It guides for 35 seconds. Its explosive mass is 900 grams. It says TNT clip 1.27, and it pins very well. So even at 1,000, it doesn't matter because it's a heat round, essentially. So it's a heat missile. So 700 millimeters of pin. So outside of hitting in a really wonky spot, it's going to pin basically everything. So. One of the other most interesting vehicles in this update is this, the Canon Day 155 Automoteur Model F1. So, fun times. Tank Destroyer, rank 5, battle rating of 7.0. This thing is massive. It's built on the AMX-30 chassis, but that turret is, you can live in there. You can move a family of 3 in there easily, and they could still get a dog. So it is very fun to see. If you look at the back of the tank, that's where all of the ammunition is stored. You can take up to 36 rounds, and all of those rounds are essentially auto-loaded. It's not what they call it for the time, but that is essentially what it is. And so basically every 7 seconds, I want to say, 7, 8 seconds, something like that, on a stock vehicle, it can reload and just fire. And it's got the high explosive variable time, fuse shells, as well as the HE shells. The HEVT shells, they performed weird, honestly, so they worked really well. Again, if you got it right on the tank. We had a couple times where it just flew over the tank, which was frustrating. So I would recommend bringing both shells and just firing from as far away as you can, because yeah, it's gonna be a beast at distance. So this is where it sits, right after the ELC BIS and right before the AMX-50 Falk. And yeah. Here is the rounds. This is the HEVT round. So almost 9.14 kilograms of explosive equivalent with explosive mass being 698. And yeah, it's pretty fun, honestly. I really enjoyed it firing it. So it says 61 millimeters of armor penetration. I don't have the HE variant either, but this one's gonna be a good time. I don't know how. It may just be kind of a meme vehicle, but it's gonna be cool, honestly. Here is the Sherman 3-4, the last Sherman to be added to a tree that didn't have one already. Sweden was the only holdout on no Sherman. So right now I am working on a get a kill with Sherman in every Sherman in the game. That's what I'm working on doing on my stream on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Monday through Thursday, if you want to come by and check that out. It says max speed, 26 miles an hour. It sounds about right for a Sherman. It does not have the top-mounted 50 cal, so you just have the hull-mounted 7.62, so you're going to have issues with, being able to shoot at planes, which if you're used to running one. But being as low as it is, as far as battle rating 3.7, rank 3, it's going to be a good tank to use to have if you're looking to grind and do dailies in Sweden. Right now, like the Sav 20 is really good, but it's rank 2. It's one of my favorite tanks in the game, but it's rank 2. So if you're looking to pick up one or the other, this one is really fun. I'm gonna enjoy. I mean, it's a Sherman, so if you don't like Shermans, it is what it is. But at 3.7, that 75 millimeter cannon is going to perform really well compared to at 5.7 or something like that, where some of the other 75 millimeters sit. So this is where it sits here, right in rank 3, right to the right, T-34. The next we have is the combat vehicle 9030 Finland. So this is the Finnish version of the CV90, and it also has a 30 millimeter Bushmaster 2K Mark 44 cannon. It says 44 miles an hour. So I want to say this one got up to about 80, like comfortably. Again, sometimes it shows like max speed. That's not always accurate because of like engine speed and things like that. So this was another fun one to run in the dev server, and I'm not anywhere near 8.3 in Sweden. So here we go. The others, this is where it sits in the tree right after the 91-105 and right before the STRF 9040B. This is the first Israeli tank that is being added. This is actually going to be folded with the Magak 6R, which is, it's good to see folders coming in lower tiers in rank 6. That's a good thing. I'm glad they didn't just add this in. And they actually had done that foldering before the controversy with all of the everything going on. So anyways, it does have the 105 millimeter Sharir cannon and those Hydra 70 missiles. It's 38, and it's very weird in the way that it shoots. You have to angle the turret very far down, the barrel very far down to get it to hit things outside of like 300 or 400 kilometers. But it is effective at that range, and it would be very effective against, open top vehicles. But in the dev server, I was just playing in a custom battle against bots, and I was able to, pin like an IS-3, kill its engine just with these without having to fire at it. So that was really nice. 29.9 millimeters. 29.9 miles per hour is pretty good, honestly. I mean, it's going to fit right where the regular Magak is, and It was an interesting vehicle. I don't know how many people are going to run it since it's folded, but it's different. It's unique, and that's a cool thing. It's never bad when they add unique vehicles in. So that's it. Magok 5, Magok 6B, and you'll see it's now folded now with the Magok 6R. These are the Hydra missiles that you saw. It's 290mm of pin, 9 grams of explosive mass with TNT equivalent of 1.19. And yeah, it was fun. It was fun to fire. I enjoyed aiming them down and hitting tanks with it. Here's another vehicle that is coming in. This is actually going to be a unit vehicle that you can research through that. It's the Magok 6B Gull. It is pretty standard, I mean, from what it says. So 48 kilometers an hour, the 105 Sharir cannon, and 50 cal on top. So not really much of a difference. Difference is you can research this just as a unit vehicle. So that is pretty neat. Another vehicle I forgot to touch on earlier is this new VBCI2 MCT-30. This is also going to be added to the Italian Tree's new premium vehicle. I did play it in the dev server as well. It turns very interesting. I don't know. It seemed weird. I don't know. There's something that seemed wrong with it, but it was fun. You did have smoke grenades, 30mm Bushmaster, the 2 Mark 44. We should be pretty used to that. And at 9.0, and it's pretty fast, so 100 kilometers an hour, it could go, pretty close to that. I think it's a pretty accurate amount. So no armor, but that's normal. And honestly, that's that. And that's it for the dev server, guys. Honestly, for ground, we're going to be looking at everything coming out this week, I assume. So keep an eye out. But I'm just trying to get this video out to make sure there's a list of everything we have going on. So thanks for being here. If you haven't hit the follow button or the subscribe button or any button that you can press to help me out, I would greatly appreciate it. I stream on Twitch Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, starting about 8:30 p.m. to about 1:30 a.m. Central Time. So I'll catch y'all in the next video. Thank you.